Lord. Oh, look at there. Hey, Shepherd.
How are
Wow.
you, Ed? Good to
I'm
talk to you.
great. It's great to talk to you. I haven't seen you in 10 years.
I know, but I see you every Sunday on my St. Luke's church service, and thank you for
God
that
bless
wonderful
you.
sermon.
Thank you, sir. Hey, Carrie, and your handsome husband. That's so great to see y'all. Look at all these people. A lot of y'all I see on Wednesdays, but hey, Liz, great to, hey, Julius. Oh, my Lord. Oh, Susan and Bill. I'm speaking to people I usually don't see on Wednesday. Oh, my gracious. Look at there, it's Steve and Olivia. Oh, my God, this is wonderful.
There's Cotton.
Cotton is here. Cotton comes to church on Wednesday nights with me. Hey,
Hey, Caroline. There's my daughter. Hey, baby.
Hey, Warren Williams.
This is Caroline. How
I
are
just
you?
wanted to let everybody know we are live now on all of our streaming services.
Everybody, we're live, and there are 137 devices on this thing. Can I have an amen on that? Amen. Who said people wouldn't come to the church house for a meeting? Shoot.
Caroline, how are you?
I'm having a glory attack. Oh my God. I wish we could take an hour to visit with everybody. Goodness gracious. Lord of mercy. There's Jackie Cushman. I love you, child. Oh my goodness.
Hey, Melba.
We got a bishop on here. Oh my Lord, I love it.
Hey, Wesley, I think it might be time to go ahead and mute everybody.
Okay.
Other than Ed, and then maybe we can get started. I love hearing the chorus, but I think it's time to get going.
I love my chancellor.
Let me mute everybody.
I love my chancellor.
All right, Ed, unmute yourself, and we can get started when you're ready.
Okay, what every preacher wants is for everybody else to be muted except for him or her. Oh, my Lord. Okay, here we go, y'all. We are going to have, first, on behalf of the senior warden, I officially open the annual meeting of St. Luke's Episcopal Church, downtown Atlanta, for the year of our Lord 2021. Having said that, let us begin with prayer, and then we'll turn it over to our Chancellor, Pat Brumbaugh. The Lord be with you. Let us pray. Almighty and ever-living God, source of all wisdom and understanding and love, be present with us who take counsel for the renewal and mission of your church. Teach us in all things to seek first your honor and glory. Guide us to perceive what is right and grant us both the courage to pursue it and the grace to accomplish it through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. Our Chancellor, Pat Brumbaugh.
Good morning, everybody. It is so great to see all your faces. I can't wait till I'm done, and I'm going to scroll through the gallery so I make sure I get eye contact with everybody. For those of you whom I don't know, my name is Pat Brumbaugh, and I am the church's chancellor, which is a fancy way of saying that I'm the parish's lawyer. One of the things I get to do as chancellor is to conduct the annual vestry election at the annual meeting. And as you all know, we did a little bit differently this year, and the vestry election has actually already taken place by mail-in and by electronic ballot. And if I'm honest with you, I wasn't really sure how that was going to work, but as in all things St. Luke's, you proved yourself adaptable and resilient. And in fact, we had 25% more participation in the annual election this year as we did in last year's meeting live. And for that, I thank you. I hope we don't have to do this again, but we know we can do it. And I really appreciate you. So with no further ado, it is my pleasure to announce that the parish has elected Lindley Cole, David Gillen, Ray Utenhoff, and John Zintak to the vestry with terms to expire upon the annual meeting in 2024. Let us wish them good luck and good fortune and send our prayers with them into this very important service. Congratulations to Lindley, David, Ray, and John. Now we're going to continue with our agenda. The next three items are reports that have been pre-recorded from Greg Vaughn on behalf of the Rector Search Committee, from Scott Inman, the chair of our Finance Committee, and from our senior warden, Melba Hughes. And with that, control room, take it away.
Good morning, St. Luke's. At the annual parish meeting 2 years ago, I addressed the congregation for the first time as the chair of the Rector Search Committee. I described the search process as a journey, and I pointed out that we, the search committee, the vestry, and the congregation were embarking on this journey together. Continuing the metaphor, I suggested that you view me as the guide for the group's journey. I even predicted that the group would, quote, undoubtedly encounter some unexpected bad weather or twists and turns along the way, close quote. But none of us anticipated that these figurative twists and turns would turn out to be a global pandemic. On March 18th of last year, Bishop Wright directed all search committees in the Diocese of Atlanta to take a 30-day pause. With the rapid progression of the COVID-19 virus over the next few weeks, we realized that it would probably be quite some time before we could return to some semblance of normal. Upon consultation with the vestry and the diocese, the search committee decided to suspend all search activities for 6 months, beginning May 1st. Just 3 weeks later, we witnessed the killing of George Floyd, which sparked a multiracial, multi-faith, multi-generational, and multinational anti-racism movement. The worsening COVID-19 global pandemic, the 400-year-old national pandemic of systemic racism that it reared its ugly head once again, and the toxic and increasingly divisive political climate impacted all of us as individuals and as a community of faith. Church was changing, and St. Luke's was changing. In late July, I convened the search committee virtually to discuss what these ongoing changes meant for St. Luke's and how this could, and perhaps should, change the leadership profile of the rector that we seek. We revisited the results of the parish survey from spring 2019 and the key themes that emerged from the 21 focus groups from that summer. We sought counsel and guidance from our diocesan consultant and from Bishop Wright. And yes, we prayed. In August, we began thinking through revisions to the leadership profile. We met with the vestry in early September, and the vestry endorsed the new model. With the growth and changes at St. Luke's since publishing the profile a year earlier, we needed to update it. What we initially expected to be a modest revision turned out to be a major overhaul. But the result is a significantly improved parish profile that presents the current and authentic St. Luke's, and importantly, articulates our aspirations going forward. The 6-month suspension period ended at the beginning of November. We submitted a new search plan and associated timeline, and the new parish profile to the diocese for review. The bishop approved all on November 20th. On November 23rd, the senior warden and I sent a letter to the parish announcing the relaunch of the rector search. We opened an 8-week application window that day, and the diocese accepted applications through January 15th, 2021. We are now reviewing and evaluating the dossiers of an impressive and promising group of applicants. We're planning to conduct virtual meetings with selected prospective candidates over the next few weeks. We are pursuing a process and timeline with built-in flexibility. With 2 new vaccines and others on the horizon, we're hopeful. But none of us can predict how the pandemic will evolve over the next few months and what adjustments we may need to make. However, the search committee plans to complete its work and present our non-ranked slate of recommended candidates to the vestry during the season of Easter. I will continue to provide timely updates to the congregation. As always, we continue to ask for your prayers. With God's guidance and grace, our journey continues. Onward.
Thanks, Greg. Good morning. My name is Scott Inman, and I'm this year's finance chair. I'd like to give you an update on the finances at St. Luke's. We've had a year that has tested us all, and St. Luke's finances are no exception. In addition to the pandemic, we're in an interim period when churches are not usually at the pinnacle of their financial vitality. With that background, let's actually start with the good news. 2020 operations ended in the black. Overall contributions were up 7% over 2019, and that year was actually up 15% over 2018. Our pledgers stepped up to the request to fulfill pledges early and added an extra $105,000 in gifts in August. That meant that contributions by St. Luke's pledgers increased by 18% over the previous year. That's a lot of progress. We kept expenses under control, even though we had extra severance and transition expenses, plus cost for live streaming support and video production. Whereas shortfalls have been the norm for a number of years, this year we actually had a $117,000 positive variance. Second, we have a balanced budget for next year. Our pledges so far are at the same level as 2020. That's great because we're going to need all of them. Operations will be more costly, as we'll be operating in 2 modes in 2021, in the virtual church for half of the year and theoretically and hopefully working our way back into our buildings in the second half. And we're ramping back up with lots of property spending and investments in program growth as we start to come back together. Third, we've shifted additional one-time dollars, primarily from the Prepare You the Way campaign, into 2022. With a new rector this year, we'll want more funds to support the transition and to provide additional dollars to grow our church once the new rector is in place. In addition to the $1 million in property capital investments between 2019 and 2022, we've moved $263,000 in program funds into 2022. How did we do this? Well, we actually spent 0 of those program dollars in 2020, even though we had budgeted more than $600,000 during this year. That is going to allow us to concentrate our dollars to give us a boost to grow as we welcome the new rector. All wonderful news, right? What keeps the finance committee up at night? Well, actually, there are 3 things. First, our $292,000 PPP loan from the federal government made a big difference in 2020. That loan will be forgiven, but we won't qualify for the next round of PPP loans that are being done this year. Second, Prepare You the Way. This campaign is a wonderful gift at just the right time. We've repaid debt, supported key programs, made strategic investments like our live streaming, and gotten moving on property improvement and maintenance projects that have been put off for a while. We've used the dollars to provide extra support to our programs in 2019, 2021 coming up, and the dollars that I discussed that we've moved into 2022. So what happens after that? Well, we need to replace the extra financial support from those one-time campaigns by growing membership and contributions in those future years. Third, we need to make sure we complete giving to Prepare You the Way. Prepare You the Way has $2.2 million in pledges, and a little more than half of that money has already come in. We'll need everybody who's made a commitment to fulfill their pledge. So let me end on a few positive notes. First, we did not need to draw on our bank line of credit in 2020, and that's a normal occurrence for this time of year, so that's wonderful news. Second, we will shortly have retired all of our debt. We paid off the north parking lot loan, and we'll have our boiler loan paid off within the next couple of months. We'll be debt-free, and that's a tremendous accomplishment. I want to thank our outgoing treasurer, Mignon Crawford, incoming treasurer, Brian Opsel, and director of finance, David Hendy. We have a tremendous finance committee who has provided expert financial guidance. Thanks to them as well. Most importantly, I want to thank all of you for stepping up in the way that only St. Lucas can to the challenges of a rector transition year. I appreciate your allowing me to serve, and thank God for this place.
Let's all give Scott a round of applause virtually. Thanks, Scott. Great report. We're really excited with the financial report this year. Good morning, St. Luke's. My name is Melba Hughes, and it has been my privilege and honor to serve as your senior warden this year. I bring you greetings on behalf of my vestry partner and friend, your junior warden, Neil Shem. What a year it's been. Last year at this time, we opened with hope, joy, and anticipation that we would welcome our new rector. Do you remember? Instead, in early March, the world changed with the health pandemic, and so much more followed. The death of George Floyd, the attack on the Capitol, the loss of over 400,000 lives. 2020 was truly a year marked by disruption, upheaval, and loss. But it also was marked by a deeper appreciation for community, traditions, and the joy of being with loved ones. Still I Rise became my daily motto. And as Christians, because we know God is always with us, we could not help but ask the question, what is God calling us to do during this time of pain and grief? True to form, St. Luke's faced the year with our normal resolve and our determination to try to live into our baptismal covenant. When I thought about my message to you today, 3 words were ever present: gratitude, confidence, and love. Let's take them in order. Gratitude. St. Luke's remains strong despite the challenges we've faced and continue to face. I am so grateful for our faith community and for all the ways we rose up to help one another this year. Your generosity and commitment to the larger community was unparalleled. Under the stellar leadership of Ed Bacon, Elizabeth Shows Caffrey, and Horace Griffin, we were able to find new ways of reaching and connecting with our parish, and we thrived. The staff rose to the occasion and was able to pivot to a new way of church. So grateful for their commitment to St. Luke's. Thanks to our dedicated program leads, Matt Brown, Liz Beal Kidd, Mark Simmons, Hallow White, we found new ways of fostering community and reaching thousands of people locally and in far-off places. I want to lift up the entire staff for their loyal and dedicated service during 2020. The phones don't get answered, the building does not stay safe, communications do not get to us, and meals don't get cooked without your devotion to our church. Thank you. I'm grateful to all the volunteers who said yes. For the people who called, the people who delivered, the people who used their creativity to make us all better, for the people who sent extra dollars to serve others, thank you. Finally, I want to thank the parishioners who were courageous enough to ask for help. You were the bravest among us, and you modeled the true meaning of church. Thank you. Confidence. We're a faith people, and our confidence that it's going to be okay was on full display during this year. We adapted, we adjusted, but not once did I ever witness giving up. I love the backbone of St. Luke's. I love our ability to work together, to see around the corners, and to believe in a brighter future. I want to thank the executive committee and the entire vestry for their work, commitment, and confidence. We say goodbye to a most talented group of people this year. Mignon Crawford, who served as treasurer for 15 plus years. Do you believe that? Thanks, Mignon. To the retired vestry members, Neil Shem, our outgoing junior warden, CJ Cash, Sarah Kennedy, and Drew Van. We have so appreciated your steadfast leadership. Love. I believe that love is the engine that drives our faith community, the love of God, the love of one another. We're not always going to agree. We will be challenged, but what binds us is the love of God and the common desire to follow Jesus. I believe that this love is on full display at St. Luke's this year, in past years, and it will be in the future. I believe this love will continue to drive us to be our best selves at St. Luke's. We're looking forward to a brighter future in 2021. We will welcome a new rector. We will continue to reach for the stars in this very, very special place. Sadly, we will say goodbye to our beloved Ed and Hope, but know that they will be with us always. And we'll look forward to a day when we can be together again. So, with gratitude, confidence, and love, I want to share a brief litany for St. Luke's, written by our own former associate rector, the Reverend Ben Anthony. O God of strangers and wanderers, your fiery presence goes before us wherever we go. Encompass and guide us as we move through this time of shadow and uncertainty. O God of friendship and care, your loving kindness never tires and never ends. Hold us fast to you and to one another. Burn away the barriers that divide us and fill our hearts with love that is as fierce as it is tender. O God of light and life, you will bring all things and all lives to their perfection. Energize St. Luke's that it continues to be a community of refreshment and hospitality to all people and a bright gospel in the heart of Atlanta. O God of blessings and peace, heal our bodies, restore our souls, nourish our minds, and shape us into a sign of your presence and the promise of heaven joined to earth. Amen. Thank you, St. Luke's.
Now, I'm going to introduce the interim rector's address, and we decided to video it, and we had fun doing it. And I am so grateful for my colleague and friend, Wesley Boutelier, who followed me around on a crazy, wild, emotive, impressionistic, fragmented cheerleading experience all over this campus. And then he stitched it together in a beautiful mosaic of a mandala organized by love. And it is just gorgeous. Now, having said that, thank you, Wesley. I see you, and I'm really grateful to you for that. And everybody else on the screen, thanks you. And my God, I am so excited. There are more than 150 devices on this. So this is the best attendance we've ever had. Anyway, Now, I watched it yesterday afternoon, and I said, oh, Ed, you stupid ignoramus, you left off 5 million people, and there were so many things you should have said. And so the reason I am introducing this live is to tell you 2 or 3 things. Number one, I underplayed something that is at the DNA of this place, and that is how much everybody at St. Luke's loves to roll up their sleeves and get involved in serving people who live on the margins. We have so many of you who volunteer at Crossroads, Ansley School, so many other places throughout the city. Atlanta, if it did a little kind of examination, would realize that one of the things that keeps Atlanta going are the people of St. Luke's. You all work so energetically and innovatively for the life of the people who struggle in St. Luke's and in Atlanta, and also keep it moving. So I just wanted to say that, and I didn't say that enough in what you're about to watch, the video. And I didn't mention the Faith and Advocacy Network. It is one of the greatest things that's going on. And thank you, all of you who participate in that and keep us updated about what we should be involved in. Number 3, because there was no way I could put onto this video all of the details that my colleagues sent in to me to mention, Halas White and I are going to develop another report, and we're going to send it out to you in writing so that you have a list of all the things that we're involved with. And I left out Marisa Cervantes, who is our wonderful intern, who is a student at Candler Theological Seminary. And so we're really glad that she's here, and thank you, Marisa. So I think with that intro, we're ready to watch this amazing, playful, breathtaking, well, you know what I mean, video. Y'all watch it, and then we'll have questions and answers. Okay, let's go.
Here, Interim Rector, St. Luke's Episcopal Church, downtown Atlanta. Here to give you my version of the annual report. I wanted to start at these wonderful bulletin boards because they're kind of frozen in time. Everybody remembers that we stopped gathering right after the March 8th event with wonderful Elaine Pagels. And we had all sorts of things planned for March Madness. Dan Siegel. Oh, yeah, Catherine Schwarzenegger Pratt. We were doing a study of Jesus and the Disinherited for Lent. We had Soup and Scripture planned. The Phoenix Files were coming up. The Secrets of the Tower were coming up in March 14. None of that happened. We canceled it and started doing St. Luke's in a completely different way, non-gathered.
It's on right now.
So come with me and let me take you on a tour of what we've been doing.
So on Sunday, the first thing we do is, if you're clergy or you're going to be in front of the camera, we come and get our vestments and put them on, find the right color stole, find the right color mask that's color coordinated with the stole. Then we come over and we get the correct mic to put on. This happens to be my microphone. And we put in these earbuds that are connected with our cell phones in our pocket so that we are going to be coordinated with the control room,
That's our next stop.
Don't tell anybody I was in this room. This is the most protected, sacred room imaginable. It's the control booth, the control room. Before the service begins, about an hour before, we have a tech check. We all have our earbuds in. We're talking to the people who are here, masked, socially distanced, people who are in their homes, tuning in, the people who are vested. And this is where the technicians, the brilliant technicians, zoom in on the lectern, the freestanding altar, the wonderful organ, the flowers, all of the different places, including the parish hall. And here's the control panel. And ooh, I wouldn't dare touch that. But all of those are secret things, and this is how the sausage is made to get to you live streamed every time we have a service. Now follow me.
Now we're in the heart of St. Luke's Church, the place where we worship, the most important thing that goes on. And we have not stopped worshiping. In fact, it feels like we've enriched our worship. Now, one of the enrichments has been the addition of our new director of music, Matthew Brown, who came on board 1st of February. And just imagine what he went through. 5, 6 Sundays of worship here, the way it's supposed to be. And then all of a sudden, we were worshiping from remote places, and we had to fill in music. And bless his heart, he would come here and video and audio and record all of the music from here. And then those brilliant technicians I was talking about earlier in the control room, they would stitch it all in. Then we were following the guidelines of the CDC and the diocese. We knew that we couldn't have singers in here anymore, and so we started to have singers, staff singers, in the narthex. And Matthew could see them from here and hear them from here so that all that could be coordinated. And we decided that the preacher had to go to the parish hall to preach. So you can begin to see all the complexity. Now back to the director of music job. Matthew has changed our lives in terms of our musical offerings. He's brought in a noonday on Friday, series of concerts during Advent, beautiful evensongs. He and Colleen Kingston, our children's youth choir leader, have worked together to create our virtual choir. Amazing technical feat, but it is so important to us. And then in November, we added this heirloom Steinway piano as a way of celebrating the lives and the offerings of Sally and Brad Curry. And we've had some beautiful music come from this piano. Now follow me to the offices.
Now we've come to Mark Simmons' office. Wonderful Mark Simmons, who oversees so much, including stewardship, invite, welcome, connect, evangelism, our way of staying connected. Let me just give you some examples of what he's been doing. Number one, this was his great brainchild, and this is in the yard of so many people here at St. Luke's, including our yard in Birmingham, and also Mardi Gras beads, getting ready for Lent. Nevertheless, he has overseen the coordination of 5 rounds of check-in calls 4,048 calls placed by 187 volunteer callers. There have been deliveries of stewardship packets to wonderful people, 12 faith and fellowship dinners. There are Mardi Gras celebrations for 151 St. Luke's revelers last year when we could gather. On, and then in fundraising, he has overseen this wonderful Big Love annual stewardship campaign during a pandemic. Big Love finds a way, and we're doing really, really well. You're hearing about it in other places and other times during this annual meeting. And also, all these yard signs all over the place, commemoration of the 5-year anniversary of the Marriage Equality Service, supported Neil Shem with his COVID survey on SurveyMonkey. Just tons of things that come out of this amazing person who connects us all and invites us to give. Follow me.
Now I've made my way to the desk of Horace Griffin. I wanted to come here because this is a sacred phone. From this telephone, Horace Griffin has been making 1,005,000,000,000 pastoral telephone calls. He oversees the healing ministry, the Good Samaritan ministry, the community of hope, the intercessors, the Eucharistic visitors, Act 3 ministry for elders, and making sure that he's reaching out to Canterbury Court through all of our calls and his calls, and the grief support group. And all of this has been going strong during COVID, and we started a benevolent grants ministry because of your generosity. So he and 2 other non-staff persons get together regularly and process all of the requests for members of our parish who have been economically hit hard by COVID. This is a holy telephone. Now we've come to Elizabeth Shaw's Caffey's office. This is where liturgy and education gets concocted. Our virtual life has not decreased the amount of education going on. Let me just give you a taste. We've had classes in the Enneagram, spirituality of aging, resiliency, science and faith, Sunday papers, inquires classes, reckoning with prisons, restoring justice, light of the world, nativity stories through Old Testament. Mary had a baby Advent series, book studies about a variety of books, and a Zoom Bible study. And then, if that were not enough, she's got weeknight going deep classes, from inquirers classes to a bunch of other things. And then there is this worship work that comes out of the mind and the brain of Elizabeth Shaw's Caffey. She oversees absolutely every detail, every facet of all of our worship services. And let me tell you, that has been hard and challenging because we have spent at least twice the amount of time planning liturgies during this pandemic as we otherwise would. You know, we've got the Book of Common Prayer, we go to that, and we just repeat that. Not during the pandemic. We're constantly having conversations about whether or not this week's liturgy is going to be in alignment with CDC and diocesan protocol. We have had to pivot so much, and Elizabeth has been the person who has thought it all through, and I'm deeply grateful. She organized all these people to come in and do the video assets. She works with Hala Hess White to make sure all of that is organized and ready for our technical geniuses every Sunday. Thank you, all of you lay readers, all of you vergers, everybody who's worked with Elizabeth Shaw's Caffey to make our worship services wonderful.
So now I'm at Elizabeth Moore's office, and she is the overseer of all of our operations. It's amazing. Just listen to what she has had to change as the operations administrator as a result of COVID. Establish COVID safety and cleaning protocols for the church, and upgraded the heating and air conditioning system in the nave and undercroft to an increased intake of fresh air rather than the recirculated air. She installed touch-free faucets and towel dispensers. She oversaw the transition and training of all office staff and clergy to work from home, transitioned Hospitality Guild from in-house catering and Wednesday night meal provider to a safe drive-up meal pickup service, implemented and set up training for a new payroll system for better accuracy and efficiency, deep cleaned the entire church, moved the Ansley School, oversaw election polling and voting here, and then making sure everything was clean after each election. Then she partnered with CORE to provide COVID testing in our lower parking lot twice each week, a multi-pronged moisture mitigation approach in the playground roof. I mean, all of these things, and made sure that we had a new 1924 building roof replacement and a completion of the employee handbook, a years-long effort. Now, obviously, she was not doing that by herself, because she has Brian Hummel working with her. She has Michelle Jimmett. She has everybody else working with her, and also a core of volunteers, non-staff volunteers. But all of that administration gets coordinated from this office. Now follow me. I'm sitting on Bethany Trout's desk. Bethany is my administrative assistant. And if I think it once, I say it a million times every day. Will you call Bethany about that? Or Bethany, will you take care of this? Bethany is kind of the still point in my chaotic turning world. And she oversees so much, getting us together and taking care of our administrative needs. We just couldn't do what we do, particularly in this pandemic, without Bethany Trout. Now, I'm at Hala S. White's office, holding a tripod, and I'll tell you why. But of all the people whose job has changed, I wonder if Hala doesn't compete with anybody else. Because in addition to an amazing print communications, conventional way of publicizing and getting everybody informed about what's going on at this very, very busy church, she had to form a small production company on top of her conventional communications work. She's the brainchild behind making sure that all these technical geniuses that I've talked about are coordinated, that we've got video assets, that she's calling us all to get all of our video work in. That's why this tripod is important. She had to order a tripod for me in Birmingham and a tripod for me in Atlanta, because so much of my stuff has to be videoed. So now, rather than being the director of communications, Hala is one of a communications team, which includes several contractors working hard to support all the ministries of St. Luke's, from worship and pastoral care to outreach and children, youth, and families. And speaking of them, meet me in the garden now. I want to talk about children, youth, and families ministries. I am so proud that this church has invested, because of your generosity, in our having 2 full-time ministers to address the needs of children and our youth and their families. Now, because of our having to have virtual church, that has not stopped us. We're having children's chapel every Sunday morning at 9:45, led by our CYF assistant minister, Ethan Scott. It is so full of joy music, his guitar playing, really innovative ways of proclaiming the gospel. If you haven't viewed that, I want you to do that. And then he has organized Sunday school. So we're still having Sunday school classes for children every Sunday. And then he and his leader, Liz Beal-Kidd, who is our senior CYF leader, had Vacation Bible School, which was explosively successful, such that other churches started replicating it and gave Liz and Ethan ideas about how to do more programming. The reason I wanted to come here to this Memorial Garden, which is one of my favorite places on campus, and show you all of these hula hoops, is this is where they have in-person youth group when it's deemed that they can, as a result of our being in alignment with CDC protocols and the diocesan protocols. But there's a limited number of people. They always have to be masked. They are socially distanced. And these hula hoops show them where they can stand or sit. We had a Right 13 dinner and a Right 13 process. CYF, Children, Youth, and Families Ministry, has not stopped 1 second, still going. The key is innovation. Liz and Ethan are just an amazing partnership of innovating what to do next. I'm so proud that even though this has slowed down a lot of stuff, CYF has not slowed down. And our kids, our teenagers, and our parents would be able to say that St. Luke's kept reaching out to them even during this pandemic.
A huge, huge part of our life in the pandemic has been our midweek meals, what I call ministry. Dina Moore, John Devine McGee come into this wonderful kitchen, and they make hundreds of meals every week, and people come by for a no contact pickup. Here's an idea of the menu recently. It's been so wonderful, and it's food, the feelings of which you can taste. I'm so grateful.
So I wanted us to come to this park, our garden. We had a series of gatherings outdoor, and we had to close those down because we just knew we needed to. And we, because of your generosity, we are equipping ourselves to be able to live stream services from here and our Memorial Garden. So when we have funerals, weddings, baptisms, or Eucharistic worship services, before we can gather together inside, we can gather together outside and have all that live stream. I'm very excited. In fact, we're going to be having confirmation when the bishop comes in May, right here, 3 different times on Saturday and Sunday. I wanted to come here and talk about mourning and community, MOURNING. This has been a national movement calling us all to mourn together. We began in October, and every Monday night through January, we had a series of Monday evenings where we rang the bells commemorating so many people whose lives have been lost to COVID-19. We learned the power of nonviolence that comes from mourning in public. And we saw a culmination of that, the Washington Monument, mid-January, just before the inauguration. This has been an occasion for us to learn about the spirituality of mourning, because Jesus said, "Blessed are they who mourn, for they shall be comforted," which means they will be made stronger together. And also, we've developed an amazing interfaith community of imams, rabbis, people from Hinduism and Buddhism and Baha'i coming together to pray. We think we've made a contribution to the evolution of the interfaith spiritual community in Atlanta. So here we are, the conclusion of my little annual report for this year. It's been such a heartwarming, mind-expanding, community-enriching here at St. Luke's Church, downtown Atlanta on Peachtree Street. God's presence right here. We had to close these doors, the physical doors, but we opened our doors of our heart, of our soul, of our mind, and our community. It is time to say thank you. We would not have been able to do it without so much volunteer investment, so much financial generosity, such hard-working, brilliant, innovative, creative staff members and committees, and I've been able to dance through the whole thing. Thank you. We have had a pandemic. We will have it for a little bit longer, and we have prevailed. Big love finds a way. Thank you.
Well, my friends, we are now at the end of our annual meeting. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you have any questions, we would be happy to engage them. All you have to do is put them in the chat at the bottom. That would be the best way, actually. And if they are complicated in terms of needing a complex answer, we will have the appropriate member of the vestry to send you a written answer. Otherwise, if it's a quick and simple thing, then they send simple and quick things to me. Complicated, brilliant, intellectual things we send to other people. So the chat room is open if you want to. Thank you for the big love blessings from all of you all. It really has been a wonderful, wonderful year, despite all the challenges. And we have a lot of sadness and mourning and praying and dislocation we've got to go through yet, and we will do it because big love finds a way. I'm seeing no questions. And with that, confirmation in May outside. Yes, indeed. Thanks, Montserrat, about the COVID pandemic being fluid. We have no, so the bishop has said this particular Sunday in May is the Sunday that I'm coming to St. Luke's, and I'll do 3 services outside, and some other people will be coming in for their confirmations. We don't have any plan for returning for in-person services inside, but what we're doing is monitoring absolutely every week the CDC guidelines and the diocesan guidelines, and Neil Shem chairs a wonderful, brilliant committee, and we stay in touch with them. And as soon as they give us the thumbs up, we're going to start having services outside. You know, people will still have to register because we have to do contact tracing, et cetera, et cetera. People will still have to wear their masks, distancing, on and on and on. Nevertheless, I think that's going to happen. And then we will open the doors to get us all gathered. I can't wait to exchange the peace in person. I just want to hug everybody's neck. Anyway, that's coming. Any other questions? I'm seeing none. I'm about to say, speak now or forever hold your peace. The vestry, I remind the vestry, you all have a meeting after this, but all of us are going to, Allison Kopp said she's been seeing interesting things that people are doing. Please send us, y'all, any ideas you have, send them to us. We want ideas. I am the greatest derivative thinker in the history of human thinking. So I'm very, very happy to plagiarize from what somebody else is doing well. So send us good ideas. Are we ready? I now pronounce that we are adjourned. Bless you all, bless you all, bless you all. Have a great Sunday. Vestry, go to your meeting. Love everybody. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, Mary Lynn. Thank you. Bye-bye, everybody. Best to everyone, Mark Johnson. Thank you. Adelaide, thank you very much.
again. You want to do it again?
Yeah, take off your mute and say, I love you.